Good day, class. So welcome to the second part of our video lesson for module 2. And this one is all about empirical formulas derived from present composition. So ito yung last learning competency that we have to cover for this module, for week 2 module. Okay? At yung learning competency natin is calculate the empirical formula from the present composition of a compound. Actually, medyo malawak tong lesson na ito, but since ito lang yung coverage ng learning competency natin, hanggang dyan lang talaga yung i-cover natin. Hindi ko na masyadong palalawakin pa yung discussion dyan. Okay, so first, let us define what is empirical formula. Empirical formula is an expression showing the types of elements present in the simplest ratios of the different kinds of atoms. Okay, so please take note of this. We have the simplest ratios. Ibig sabihin, yung mga subscripts ng chemical formula natin, isi-simplify natin sa lowest term. Ganun lang yung ibig sabihin natin ng empirical formula. Okay, bakit ba, para saan ba itong empirical formula? Normally ito ginagamit kapag pag sinabi na kasi nating empirical, ibig sabihin nito, it's derived from data. Okay? So, halimbawa, mayroong isang unknown substance, gusto mong malaman kung ano yung pinaka-chemical formula niya. Through experimentation, okay, or chemical analysis, malalaman mo yung chemical composition niya, anong mga elements ang bumubuo sa kanya. Okay? So, bago mo malaman yung chemical formula niya talaga, or molecular formula niya, kaya ang unang-una mo muna makukuha ay yung empirical formula which is derived from chemical analysis sa loob ng laboratory. Okay. So, first thing that we are going to do is derive the empirical formulas from the following compounds given their molecular formula. So, ito talaga yung formula ng molecule nila. Yan mga yan. Okay, pero kapag paano nalaman yung kanilang molecular formula? Again, from the lab, they start with chemical analysis. Inaalam nila kung ano-ano talaga yung mga bumubuo ng mga substances, ng mga atoms dun sa compound na to, sa molecule na to. And then, yung unang-una nila makukuha, yung empirical formula, saka lang nila madederive yung molecular formula. So, anong empirical formula ng mga to? Again, ilo-lowest term lang natin sila. So, C2H6. So, yung lowest term niya, since both are divisible by 2, then we will get C. Pag 1, hindi na natin lalagay yung ano niya. Wait, palitan nga natin ng ink color to. Yung light yellow ulit. Ayan. So, for C2H6, ilo-lowest term lang natin yung kanilang mga subscripts. So, we get CH3. Okay, kasi both are divisible by 2. So, 1. Ito naman ay magiging 3. Okay, how about this one? Ayan, anong magiging empirical formula for C6H12O6? This is glucose. Okay? Ito naman ay ethane. Ayan. So, saan ba divisible yung mga numbers na yan? So, all of them are divisible by 6. So, ito ay magiging 1. Ito ay magiging 2. At ito ay magiging 1. So, therefore, the empirical formula for glucose is CH2O. So, the empirical formula for glucose is CH2O. Now, how about for this one? This is propane. Ano ang empirical formula for C3H8? Divisible by any number ba yan? Aside from 1? Okay, so wala. So, therefore, this is already in its lowest form. So, siya na rin yung kanyang empirical formula. Molecular formula and empirical formula na rin yan. So, it's C3H8. And then lastly, we have C4 H8, this is butene, or likely butene siya, or pwedeng cyclobutane. Well, hindi natin alam. Depende na lang sa kanyang chemical, sa structural formula. So, this one it can be divisible by 2, or 4 pala. Okay, yung lowest term na yan. So, this is 1, and this is 2. So, therefore, its empirical formula is CH2. Okay, so ganoon lang kasimple ang pagkuha ng empirical formula kung meron ka ng given na molecular formula. Now, how do we compute for the empirical formula if meron ka lang given na percent composition from a chemical analysis? So, by the way, when we say percent composition by mass, it is the percent by mass of each element in a compound. So, paano ba natin kinukuha yan? We have percent composition of an element is equal to N. This N here refers to the number of moles. Okay? O yung bilang niya dun sa, sa formula. Okay? Times the molar mass. Yung mass ng element dun sa periodic table divided by the molar mass of the compound. When we say molar mass, yan yung parang kabuuang timbang ng lahat ng elements dun sa compound. So, siguro skip na muna natin to kasi hindi naman talaga to cover ng And normally, sa calculation ng empirical formula, given the percent composition, hindi na kayo pinapag-solve ng percent composition. Okay? Kasi ibang topic na siya, actually. So, parang ganito lang yan. Halimbawa, just to give you an overview about percent composition, so, ang molar mass ng water ay ito. Yung dalawang hydrogen ang timbang niya, base sa periodic table is 1.01 grams per mole. So, ibig sabihin, ang timbang ng hydrogen ay 2.02 grams per mole. Ang timbang naman ng oxygen is 16 grams per mole. Nag-iisa lang siya. So, it's 16. Pag add mo yan, then the molar mass of water is 18.02 grams per mole. Now, to get that, percent composition of hydrogen in water, so ganito lang siya. So, we have 2 hydrogen atoms based on the formula, and the mass of hydrogen is 1.01 grams per mole all over the molar mass of water itself. So, it's 18.02 times 100%. Ito yung formula natin kanina sa taas. So, yung percent composition ng hydrogen sa water is 11.21%. Well, for oxygen, so 1 times 16 divided by 18.02 times 100%, so it's 88.79%. Okay? Pero hindi nga natin ito gagamitin sa sa calculation natin mamaya. Okay? Binigyan ko lang kayo ng overview kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin natin ng percent composition by mass. Okay. So, halimbawa ito, how do we solve for the empirical formula of this compound, yung tinatawag natin na allicin? So, allicin is the compound responsible for the characteristic smell of garlic. So, yung amoy bawang, okay, yung naamoy natin na yun, that is actually allicin. So, an analysis of the compound gives us the following percent composition by mass. So, dito, hindi na nga tayo magsasolve ng percent composition. Binibigay na sa atin base sa data na nakuha sa chemical analysis. So, carbon is 44.4%, hydrogen is 6.21%, sulfur is 39.5%, and oxygen is 9.86%. So, we are asked to find or to calculate the empirical formula of allicin. So, paano natin isa-solve yan? So, here are the steps that we have to follow. Number 1, divide each percent by its atomic mass. Number 2, divide each of the answers by whichever is the smallest. And number 3, find the lowest whole number ratio. Papakita natin kung paano yan ginagawa. So, the first one is divide the percent by its atomic, divide each percent by its atomic mass. So, halimbawa, carbon, yung percent, yung yung for the carbon atom, okay, ang percent niya ay, eto, nasa taas, so it's 44.4. Hindi na natin ilalagay yung percent dyan. Divided by, ano ba ang atomic mass ng carbon? So, it's 12.01 base sa periodic table. Okay. So, solve. Let's get the calculator. So, it's 44.4 divided by 12.01. So, it's 3.6969. So, gawin na natin 3.70. Okay, how about hydrogen? Hydrogen is 6.21. Tama ba? Hindi ko makita, may nakaharang dito sa screen ko. 6.21. 6.21 divided by, ang mass naman ng hydrogen is 1.01. Okay. So, 6.21 divided by 1.01, the answer is 6.15. Okay. Sulfur is 39.5 divided by, ang timbang naman ng sulfur sa periodic table ay 32.06. Okay? So, 39.5 divided by 32.06. So, the answer is 1.23. While oxygen, okay, ang percent niya ay 9.86 divided by, ang kanyang mass naman ay 16.00. So, its mass is now 9.86 divided by 16. So, the answer is 0.62. Okay. So, ayan na. Nagawa na natin yung step 1, divide each percent by its atomic mass. Let's move on to the second step. So, divide each of the answers by which is the smallest value. So, sa mga yan, ano yung pinakamaliit na value? Ang pinakamaliit na value ay ito. We have 0.62. So, ang gagawin natin, we are going to divide all of these answers by 0.62. Palitan natin ng color yung natin. Gawin natin blue naman para medyo ma-differentiate natin yung mga steps. Okay, so we divide this by 0.62. Lahat sila. 0.62. Para makuha natin yung pinakamalapit na whole number ratio ng lahat ng mga yan. Okay, so obviously, 0.62 divided by 0.62 is 1. Okay? Now, how about yung iba, ng mga elements? So, 1.23 divided by 0.62. So, it's 1.98. 98. So, pwede natin siyang i-round off into 2. How about this one? 6.15 divided by 0.62. So, the answer is 9.992. Ayan. So, pwede natin din siyang i-round off into 10. Okay? Now, how about for carbon? So, it's 3.70 divided by 0.62. So, the answer is 5.97. So, ito kasi pwede na kagad natin itong i-round off into 6. So, ngayon, nakuha na natin yung mga yung mga whole number ratios nung mga, ano, ng mga elements dun sa compound natin na alisin. So, we have carbon is 6. Palitan natin ng color ulit para mas madali natin visualize. Ito na, yellow na matingkad. So, carbon is 6. Hydrogen is 10. Sulfur is 2, while oxygen is 1. So, this is the empirical formula for alisin. C6H10O, C6H10S2O1. O kahit na hindi na natin isama itong yung 1. Okay? Okay lang naman. Okay. Now, what if maka-encounter kayo halimbawa ganito? Ito, okay na to lahat. Pero meron tayong isang meron tayong isang given na ang kinalabasan halimbawa ay 5.49. Masyadong alanganin, no? So, ang gagawin natin, kasi ang layo masyado kapag ni-round off natin. So, ang gagawin natin dyan, kailangan natin i-convert kasi ito into whole number. So, para ito ay maging whole number, okay, then, ang gagawin natin is we are going to multiply everything para itong isang to ay maging whole number. So, halimbawa ito, pag minultiply natin siya, kunwari ang kinalabasan hindi 5.97, 5.49. So, pag ito ay minultiply natin by 2, ito ay magiging, 11. Tama? 11. Pag nag-round off tayo, magiging 98. So, magiging 11. Ito ay magiging 12. Ito ay magiging 20. Ito ay magiging 2. Ito ay magiging 4. At ito ay magiging 2. Okay? So, ganun yung gagawin natin in case na maka-encounter tayo ng sagot na hindi mo kagad pwedeng i-round off kasi medyo malayo. Kailangan mo siyang gawa ng paraan para maging whole number. So, we can do this by multiplying everything by 2. Kaya kung kunwari 0.33, kunwari 5.33. Ito kasi alanganin. Hindi mo naman pwedeng i-disregard yan. So, para maging whole number yan, i-multiply mo sa 3. So, magiging 15.99 siya. So, 16 na rin yun. Okay? So, gagawin natin ng paraan. We multiply this by a certain number para yung decimal natin ay maging whole number. Okay? So, that's it for getting the empirical formula from percent composition. So, mapapractice na lang kayo dun sa practice homework na ibibigay ko sa inyo today. Okay? Thank you for listening. So, balikan nyo lang itong video if you want to review the steps for getting the empirical formula from percent composition. So, thank you. Bye-bye.